What's up, YouTube, and welcome back to the channel for another video. In today's video, we're going to do something a little different. Normally, I'll do a video breakdown of something that I created in FL Studio using nothing but FL Studio native plugins and VSTs. But today, I'm going to do something a little different. We're going to talk about guitars, and I'm just using a regular acoustic guitar. This little guy right here, and this is like one of those Walmart guitars. It's first stack, you know. But we're going to make a beat using a guitar. And most of the elements in this instrumental is going to be from that acoustic guitar. We are still going to be using the FL Studio native plugins because that's just what I like to do. Without any further ado, I'm going to show you how to make a guitar beat. Make it sound like you actually played the guitar, even if you didn't play it in that actual rhythm. So let's get right to it. As you can see here, I got a lot of chops going on here. What I did was simple. I picked up my guitar and I recorded me just strumming different notes. And I'll show you real quick what chords that I use, or the chord shape that I used. And you can actually use this chord shape going up and down the guitar, and it's going to create, or it's going to make the different chords starting with E, F, G, all the way up. So this chord right here is an E chord, and if you the E major, and if you slide it down and you bar it like that, now it's an F. If you take this away, now it's an F minor. If you take this finger away, it's an F minor. And you can do that up and down the neck of the guitar, and it's just going to go up the scale just like that. That is literally all I did. I just strummed. I did some long strums, some short strums, and I'll show you here in this file. In this file, you see where I'm just kind of playing. It's a whole bunch of different, it's one take, but it's a whole bunch of different just strum patterns and whatnot. And what I did was I right-clicked on this file, and I edited it in the audio editor, and it brought it up in Edison, and I was able to chop out the bits and pieces that I wanted and that I liked. And then all I did was I dragged them into the playlist, and I gave them the shapes that they have now, or I gave them the timing that they have now. If you look a little close, you'll see a lot of these shapes are the exact same shape. Like this shape and this shape are the exact same shape, exact same chord that's being played. But I did something different. I made it unique, and then I pitched this one down to give it the chord sound that I wanted to have. You know, all you have to do is move something up one or two semitones, and it'll just be the next note in the scale. That's literally all I did here with these right here. And then with the ones right up under it, this is the rhythm guitar. These are just me doing little short strums, just little short kind of muted strums. And I just put them together in this form, and I'll let you hear what it sounds like together. Same thing over and over again. That rhythm goes all the way through the entire song. I don't stop that rhythm at all. That is the rhythm guitar, and I'll show you what I have on it. Besides this parametric EQ here, I also started the chain with the Fruity Parametric EQ1. Or EQ2, I'm sorry, kind of shaping the sound here. Then I threw on hardcore, and I used this setting Ballad Clean FG. Now in FL Studio, I do believe the All Plugins edition, which is one I have, has this, and I want to say the edition right before it has this available, where you can use it without the sound dropping out. But even if you can't use it without the sound dropping out, you can always throw it on there, export or render the WAV file out, and it'll still have those settings, so you don't have to worry about the sound dropping out. But also, if you don't have that, or if you can't do that, or you don't want to do that, you also have a Fruity Chorus plugin. You have a Drive, Blood Overdrive plugin, and you have an EQ, so you can still recreate this same exact emulation like you would in this plugin. But I used this to kind of give it a distorted sound. I also, after that, I did some compression to even out the sound. After that, I threw on some delay. Then I did a little reverb. The room size, I kept it where it was. In the different guitars, I'll show you what the room size, I kind of changed it. And I brought the damp down to kind of give it more of a darker tone to that reverb. And I cut that decay up to about 5.5 seconds. And I left that early reflection right where it was because I wanted that to come on back. We wanted to hear it bouncing off the walls. After that's all said and done, I did throw on this automation, this EQ automation here. And this is what it sounds like. Just kind of washing or coming in. And as you can see by the end, it's fully in. Now, the great part about being on a computer is that you can chop up things to make them sound how you want them to sound. You can make them sound as short or as long as you want them to sound just by going in and clicking. Let's see, we double click on one and you turn resample into stretch or stretch pro, and now you can stretch it and pitch it without actually affecting the tempo or anything. Or you can stretch it big and short, however you want to do it. All you really have to do is just go into it and change resample to stretch, and now you can stretch it as long or short as you want, and you can change the pitch. The next thing I did was this lead guitar, and the lead guitar is the same concept. I just recorded me playing a bunch of things, bunch of little notes here and there, and that's gonna be this one here. And all I'm doing is just picking out different parts of the sample that I think go, and then I'm just kind of stretching them or repitching them to make them fit within the sample itself. By itself, it sounds like this. It's literally just kind of being repeated over and over again. This little part right here is the exact same thing as this, only it's pitched down and they play together. And what I did with that one was I put a fruity parametric EQ on to cut out a lot of that low end. I also did another instance of hardcore, but I'm using the Chill Out XS setting. The reason I use a different setting is because I don't want these guitars to sound the exact same. I want them to sound different. I want you to notice that there's a different guitar playing. Even though it's the same guitar, I want it to sound like there's a different guitar playing. And all I did with these was I just cut the mix down on the delay. That's literally it. And left it how it was after that. Then I put on a fruity compressor. After that, I did a delay. And I know it makes no sense to put a delay when you have delay in the hardcore. But I promise you it makes sense because it gives it a different kind of vibe to it. And I also put another reverb on it. And all of this stuff is FL Studio native. So you should have all of these plugins in your FL Studio. This is what it sounds like in context. After that, I recorded another instance of the guitar, or I took more instances of the guitar and chopped out this other feel here. Or this is more like a melody or kind of a background melody, same guitar, and kind of the same settings. I got the fruity parametric EQ kind of rolling off the low and rolling off the highs. I have this fruity compressor on it, and it's doing a little bit more compression than the last one. And I have hardcore again, same settings, but this time I only changed the delay on this one and kept the delay mix on this one how it is, and I kind of brought the reverb down on this one because I was going to add a flangus to it, and I also added a fruity chorus to it, and then of course another reverb. If you see the room size here is huge, so it's like it's in the back somewhere, you know what I'm saying? It was playing far away. And it also helps separate the lead guitar from the melody guitar. And this is what it sounds like by itself. And as you can hear, it doesn't sound like it's completely on the grid. It sounds like it's a little offbeat, a little out of time, but that's done on purpose because when you humanize something, well, when a human plays something, we don't play it all on beat all the time, every single time. So this kind of gives it that real live feeling like it's being played. And you'll notice this little part right here where it's kind of like a scratch or me moving up and down the neck. So it sounds like someone's actually playing the guitar. And I'll put that together in context as well. And something that you'll notice is that these two guitars, the lead guitar and the melody guitar, are panned. So I have the lead guitar panned to the right and the melody guitar panned to the left. And this is going to keep those from clashing and actually being able to hear both of those at once. The next thing that I did was the bass, and the bass is also being played on the exact same guitar. It's an acoustic guitar. All I did with this was I just pitched it down. So I took those takes, this is one take, and I just pitched it all the way down 1200 semitones or cents, and I got it in the octave of a bass. If you listen to it here, you'll hear those little taps at the end, and that's just me tapping the string. Once I get done holding the note out, tap the string. It kind of gives it a percussive element to it, but it also gives it that real feel like someone's actually really you know, playing the bass guitar, which that's the whole vibe that we want. We want everything to sound like it's actually being played. Doing things like that, just small little things like that, help add to the character of that sound. You'll notice that this note right here is literally the exact same note as this one. I just kind of resized it or stretched it and then kind of gave it a different pitch and made it smaller. That's all I did, is literally the exact same note, because I didn't play it like it's played here. The processing on it is very simple. I have the EQ going on at first, kind of rolling off the sub frequencies, but I did boost over in kind of like the low bass, the high sub, and then I cut out some of this low mid here because it made the body sound a little too hollow for me. Then I have the compressor on it, and this compressor is kind of compressing. I would say it's compressing slightly hard. That ratio is at 6 to 7, but I also have it sitting at medium versus having it at hard. So the compression, it gives it a different type of character to it. After that, I threw on the fast distortion to give it some drive, to make it sound like, you know, it's played on an actual bass and it sounds like it's played on an amp. But as you'll see here, I don't have the mix turned all the way up. I have the mix not even halfway, and that threshold over halfway point. It's going to give it that nice high harmonic to it, or it's going to add some high harmonics to it. And then lastly, I threw on another EQ. This is a weird shape, but I just needed to do a little bit more to it to give it the sound that I wanted it to have. And this is the sound that I came up with. So, and then this little part right here in the beginning is a little riff. If you listen to it, it sounds like it's been played all at once, but only this part was played at once. And I'm just kind of doing like a hammer on, just moving up and down the guitar, hammering on a note. I did it a few times, and that's just kind of what I came up with. And I chopped it out and put it together, and it all came together. And this is what it sounds like in context. And with this bass guitar, I will show you another thing with the bass guitar. Here you have the rhythm going. We have it going boom, boom, boom. But over here, we changed that up. It goes. So it adds a little bit of variation, and it's not the exact same thing over and over and over again. After all of that, we go to the drums. So that's all we have for the melody as far as the guitars and the bass go. There's no pads and anything like that. It's all guitar. We go on to our percussive elements, and this is just a rim shot, and this rim shot can actually be found in your FL Studio packs. This is the VT Rim Shot 2. If you have FL Studio, you have that rim shot. Only thing that I did, you'll see there's two different layers of it. There's rim shot, and then I got that track under it. I just pitched it up and down, so I made it unique. This one is lower. This one is higher. Yeah. And I have that playing in that rhythm. And the reason I have it separated like that is so I didn't get confused on which hit was which hit. But yeah, and the only thing that I have on that is going to be the parametric EQ rolling off a whole bunch of those lows and a little bit of the highs, and then I have a reverb just to kind of put it in the space. And you'll see the size on this one, I have the dry turn down, the early reflection turn down, the wet all the way up, and I have the size on this one to be a lot smaller. And the rhythm that it has is just so I'm mixing it up. Like, this is the same exact as this one, but this one is a little bit different. It's got the low and then the high. I'm just mixing it in through there, just kind of giving the vibe. This is what it sounds like in context. All right, and on to the actual drums, not just percussion, which drums are percussion, but on to the actual drums. These are drums from my drum kit, the Jooce Box drum kit. If you haven't checked it out, it is the first link in the description. It's got a lot of drums, just good drums that you could choose from here, that you can just easily just throw in and lay down. It's got some 808, some accents. We got some claps, some hi-hats, some kicks, snares, rim shots, riser shakers, all kind of stuff in this pack. So if you haven't checked it out, feel free to check it out, and it definitely supports the channel. So thank you so much if you do go and get that. On to the drums here, the kick pattern. Now, I did something crazy with this intro. I think I'll let you kind of hear the kick pattern without the rest of it, or I'll let you hear the kick pattern with the rest of it, but without the rim shot, the snare. So As you can see, the kick pattern is basically following the bass. So it's hit here, so go hit here with this one, and then we got this one and we got this one. They all hit together, and this one also hits at the same time, and we got some filler notes. And what I did was with this one, this is the Jooce Box Kick 14, and what I did was I made it unique, and I brought the volume down on this one compared to these here, because it's like somebody's actually playing it. I brought the volume down, and instead of it going boom boom, it's boom boom. You know, you hear it. You get what I'm saying. But anyway, that's what I did as far as the pattern goes, and I left a lot of room. Like in this part of it, there's no kick at all, but then the kick comes back. You don't need a lot of the kick in this. I don't think so. Just kind of let the bass have a little space here. Let the music have a little space here just by itself, so you can kind of hear what's actually going on. On the kick, I didn't do much at all. I just did a fast distortion to kind of give it some punch, and then I gave it some EQ because I wanted to separate the kick from the bass. I wanted them to actually be heard, and I boosted up these high harmonics here so that it cuts through the mix and you can hear it on a smaller device. The next thing I did was this rim shot, which is a Jooce Box rim shot. Comes right from Jooce Box. It's rim shot 2, and you'll notice that some of these are on the grid and some of them are off the grid, and that's done on purpose. I did it on purpose because, like I said, we don't always play directly on the grid. And something else you'll notice, a lot of these kicks and rim shots are hitting at the exact same time, and that is an energy thing. Like, it brings a different type of energy to the kick, and you hear it a little bit better. It's more like that kick is snapping. So I'll let you hear what that sounds like together. And of course, I did the same thing with the rim shot here, where I got some that are different. I just made it unique, kind of brought the pitch up on it, but I brought the volume down as well. So bringing that volume down is gonna make it sound like it's been a roll. So instead of it tat, it'd be tat. A lot of it is just when you see it doubled up like that, you got one that's lower in volume than the one either before or after it. But played together in context, that's what it sounds like. Right here. You see that? Only thing I did to the rim shot was add an EQ. I just need to kind of boost some and kind of roll off some. And it's just to make sure everything doesn't get too muddy down there in the low end. The next thing you see here is this crash. And this is the crash from FL Studio. FPC crash. It looks like G 18-inch. You have it. I can tell you, you have it in your FL Studio. And all of these are the exact same crash, but once again, I just make them unique, and I'll do something different. Like I pitched this one down and stretched it in some. Then I pitched this one up, and I stretched it in even more, because not every cymbal on the drum set is a crash cymbal. Some of them are rides, and some of them are just different types of cymbals. And that's what I was emulating here, is the different type of cymbal sounds. And this is what it sounds like in context. As you can see, it sounds like the drummer's hitting different cymbals on the drum set. And there's absolutely nothing on the cymbal. I didn't put any processing on the cymbal. I just turned it down, and that's what we got. After that, you'll notice how mostly everything is in waveform right into the grid, but the hi-hat I did a little different. I have an open hi-hat and a closed hi-hat, and both of these hi-hats come from Jooce Box. So the open hi-hat is the Jooce Box Open 10, and then I got the closed hi-hat 9. And the reason I put these in the channel rack on the piano roll is because, in my opinion, it's a lot trying to get different hi-hats. Just having all those different hi-hats, you said, are the different volumes and things like that. And I also wanted to make sure that my hi-hats work together. If I open up this hi-hat cuts itself one by one, but the open hi-hat is cut by one. So anytime the closed hi-hat hits after the open hi-hat, it's going to cause the open hi-hat to sound like it is being closed. You can do that in the grid with just the waves, but you're gonna have to do that for every different hi-hat that you create to cut off one. You're gonna have to do that again for the next one. So I didn't want to do that in the grid or in the playlist, so I just did it all in the piano roll. The pattern is actually very simple. If we listen to just the pattern here, I'm not doing too much, just a couple of rolls here and there. That's literally it. And then I got the open hi-hat in those spaces, and it cuts off whenever the closed hi-hat. Like right now, it's not cutting off because the hi-hats aren't playing together. But if I put those together in the playlist here, you'll hear them cut off. Here I go. And this hi-hat here is mainly following the kick and the bass, and it's just giving more accent to that. It gives it more energy to that kick and that bass, and it helps you be able to kind of feel it a little bit more. There's no processing on the hi-hats either. After that, I have this effect that I have going on. This is a spin down. You can also find this. I do believe I got this out of FL Studio. It's in your pack somewhere. Trust me, if you have FL Studio, you should have this sound. And I pitched it up the whole 1200 cent and an entire octave, and I also put this automation on the panning of it, right? So where I'm panning this, or the way I'm panning this, I'm actually panning it in the mixer, and when it plays, it's just going from left to right. I'll let you hear it by itself. It's not very loud. I did put EQ on it to kind of take all of that low end out and kind of some of the high end as well. And I turned it down, so when it plays, it's not very prevalent or present in the sound, but you hear it. You, without it being there, you can kind of notice that it's not there. So if we play it together with the drums, you can hear it, but it's not loud. If we take it out, you can tell that it's not there. You see, it brings a different type of energy to it. It just gives it that build up that we want. The next thing is going to be this vocal here. Now, I don't own Splice. I don't have Splice, but I got a friend who has Splice, and he downloaded this vocal, and I liked it. And I told him to send it to me like a week or two ago, and he finally got around to it like day before yesterday, which kind of inspired this instrumental. It is called J-Dum. It's C sharp. I'm sure if you have Splice, you can go find it, but he sent it to me, and I put it in this beat. Now, what's going on with this is it's really a girl singing, but I have it pitched down first off to fit the key. I put deformant stretch on it to bring it down about 700 cents. And without the effects on it, this is what it sounds like. And then with the effects, these two here are affecting the EQ. The very last parametric EQ that I have on it, which I only have two EQs. One is to clean it up. That's the first EQ. And then this EQ is going to be the automation. When it plays, you'll see it opens up. And by the time it gets to the intro or the drums, it's fully played. Kind of understand more what's being said with it. The only other processing I did do to it is if I go over here to my mixer, you'll see that I got it routed to this channel right next to it, and I just put some delay on it. I didn't put the delay directly on it because I wanted to have a little bit more freedom with the delay, so I put it on a bus and I sent it to that bus track. And then after that, the last thing is going to be this little riser right here, which is the riser from the Jooce box kit. This is riser 1. Now, it doesn't sound like that at first. I did stretch it to make it sound like it sounds now. And I put it right before the drums start to come in, right before the pickup. See, this little area right here is the drop. This little area is the drop, but this little area is the pickup into the drop. And I have this playing right before the pickup, so it gives us a little bit of energy to the pickup, and then the pickup gives us energy to the drop. And there's nothing on this besides parametric EQ, and that's to take out all of the low end. I kept the high, but that's literally all it is in this entire instrumental. And then the arrangement, of course, I have the arrangement done out. I have it where there's no drums here, no drums here, but you'll see I got some percussive elements still where there's no drums, but I have no percussive elements where there are drums here. Really, the arrangement is a trial and error kind of thing. I made it all the way out, and then I just repeated it again right here. Like I made it completely out, then I repeated it. So you'll see all of this is like the first half, and then I just repeated it again right here. And then I took the drums out on this part. Instead of having the drums play again here, I ended the song. It was just getting kind of lengthy. When it comes to arranging your instrumentals, you just gotta kind of see what feels right. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do. I just go with what feels right, and then I repeat it, and that's it. That is it for this instrumental. I hope you found something helpful in here. Like I said, use the computer to your advantage. You have a computer, you're in post process, chop up some stuff. I will be honest with you, I didn't make this beat in 10 minutes. I didn't make this beat in an hour. It took me about 6 hours to make this beat, from recording everything to stretching and rearranging everything, adding the actual vibes, the drums, the mixing, all of it together took me about 6 hours. So just because the video doesn't seem long doesn't mean it didn't take a long time to do it. Take your time. You don't have to, make a beat in 10 minutes. If you can, that's great. That's fine. But sometimes you just don't need to, But anyway, that is it. Like I said, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. Hopefully you learned something. And also make sure you go get that Jooce Box drum kit because it really helps the channel. Make sure you also drop a comment. Let me know what kind of videos you want to see next. And let me know what you think about this one. Also, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. See you in the next video, guys.
Juicy K Production.